All right, this podcast kind of starts the main part of 2A. The other podcasts were review of fractions. So in this section, we're going to talk about a unit, and a unit is a quantity describing what is being counted or measured. So if you're counting oranges, obviously your unit is oranges, but sometimes we're counting inches or feet or square feet or acres or liters. So there's a lot of units we use in our society, which typically maybe in elementary school they call labels, like make sure you label your answer. Well, what they're really asking you is to tell what the unit is so people know what your unit is. Um, as we talked about when I did the review of fractions, when you add and subtract, you need to have the same unit. So if you can't add 8 quarters plus 2 nickels and get anything unless you convert them all to nickels or to pennies, or I guess you could count coins and have coins be your unit, but as is, you can't add quarters and nickels. So if I have 2 quarters and 3 quarters, I have 5 quarters. I can do that. Um, Multiplying and dividing, remember we talked about when I reviewed the fractions, is it's not necessary to have the same, I don't know where that little dot came from, right? I don't see it right now. Sorry about that. Um, but with multiply and divide, it's not necessary to have the same units, although you could. So I could multiply feet by feet and get square feet, like when I do area, or meters times meters times meters and get cubic meters, but it's not necessary. I could have $8 for every single candy bar, giant candy bar, I guess, that I buy, and I buy 10 candy bars. What's my fee for all these humongous candy bars? So not necessarily, if $80 per cell phone, and we have 3 cell phones, so that's $240 a month. So when you multiply and divide, you don't necessarily have to have the same unit, but you could. Sometimes in math problems you see the word per. That typically means division. So like you have 60 miles per hour, so that's 60 miles per means division, 1 hour, something like that. Squared, you might have a unit of, say, square feet, so that means an exponent of 2. Cubed, again, you might have cubic feet, so that would be an exponent of 3. And then if you're doing units and it's a multiply problem, you might end up with a hyphen. So like if you end up taking, for some reason, acres times feet, you could end up with some weird unit of acres feet. Sometimes that doesn't always make sense, but it could happen. The next thing we're going to talk about really quick is dimensional analysis. And this is basically a fancy word for a way of converting units and between different units. And the thing is that the method actually helps you figure out the math. So if you're always like, I don't know if I multiply or divide, this would really help you. So say I want to go from 2 years, and I want to convert that all the way down to seconds, and I really want to know how many seconds are in a year. Now, first of all, you can use logic a little bit. Years are really big units, and you're going to a tiny, tiny unit, so you should have a lot of them. So your answer should get bigger, all right, which implies that we're probably going to do a lot of multiplying. So I start out with 2 years. And instead of like deciding what to do on my calculator right away, I'm going to make a lot of little fractions. And you can use the dot here, I guess, for multiplication if you want. Right, and so the first thing is you want to cancel this unit. And so to cancel, like when we talked about fractions, you need numerator and denominator. So I'm going to put the word year down here so that my unit cancels. And I'm going to go to the next unit. Now, typically we would go to months. The only problem is not every month has the same consistency with days. So we're going to jump and we're going to go 1 year, and we're going to go with 365 days. And again, some people may argue that's not consistent either because of leap year, but we're not going to get too anal here. So, but we can't go to months. Converting to 12 months would be fine. It would just be going from months to days. That would not be a good conversion. So if you notice, my units cancel. And so then I know my unit is days now. So then I think, okay, I want to cancel days. So I'm going to put 1 day on bottom so that the unit of days cancel. and I think about a day, and I think, well, there's 24 hours in a day. And so this unit cancels that unit, and now I'm in hours. So the next conversion would be, well, I want to cancel 1 hour. And so if I think about an hour, there are 60 minutes in an hour. So again, see how your units cancel just like fractions when we reviewed that. And I want to go to seconds. So again, I want to cancel my minute, and there are 60 seconds in a minute. And so those are going to cancel. And so if you look at the end here, the unit is what I want. And notice everything's in the numerator, which on a calculator would mean that you would multiply. So I'm going to grab my calculator here. All right, so we're going to take 2 years. And I didn't think in advance if I was going to multiply or divide. I just let the units tell me what to do. They're all in the numerator. When all the units canceled, all my numbers are. So I'm just going to multiply. So 365 days. And then there's 24 hours in all of those days. And then there's 60 minutes in all of those. And then there's 60 seconds. And so hopefully I didn't make a mistake, but 6307200. So what is that? 633,072,000 seconds are in 2 years.